67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today, Friday, the 22nd of September. Today, going to address a couple of news stories regarding Celtic and do a preview of tomorrow's game on TV, 12:30 against Livingston at the Tony Macaroni Stadium. Before we get going, please like and subscribe. Subscriber numbers slowly edging up little by little, which is grand. Hoping to gain a few more with this video and a few more every day as things progress. Have a wee look also at the Celtic Livingston related fun trivia question in the community section. And do remember, clicking that subscribe button, completely free of charge, no obligation, but does help me progress the channel and does cheer me up no end when I see the subscriber numbers go up one by one. So, a couple of wee news stories regarding Celtic, one of which was Brendan Rodgers' press conference yesterday. He was full of praise for Liam Scales, who has been impressive over the last few games, having been thrown in at the deep end against Rangers when he did play well, and he coped fine against Feyenoord and seems actually to be building up a good partnership with Gustav Lagerbielke, who sadly won't be available for the next European match. By which time, however, we should have CCV back to partner either Phillips or Scales in central defence. Rodgers also commenting sort of on the summer transfer window, saying that he wished that Celtic had got more players in. However, he also said that every manager wishes that he got more players in during the summer transfer window. He did acknowledge that you work with the players that you've got, and he did say very encouragingly that he's a coaching manager and his job is to improve players and turn young, promising players full of potential into stars. And I think certainly that's the way that Rodgers should go. I think it would have been helpful, I think, personally, if he'd been a bit more praiseworthy, saying that the scouting department, the transfer department, the board had made money available, but potential signings didn't come through. I think it's important to create a concerted, strong front between all the different departments at Celtic, which does improve morale, creates confidence and belief in everybody who is working to make Celtic better. However, overall his comments were mostly in line with what I would have wanted. Also noticing quite a few people on the Celtic fan sites and pundit sites are already saying Gustav Lagerbielke and Lewis Palmer are not good enough for Celtic. I think this is extremely premature, and I think also one should look at their performances once they were settled down, when Lagerbielke was playing in Sweden and when Lewis Palmer moved from Honduras to play in Greece. There are several highlight reels on the on this channel in the community section, and also several videos and scouting reels, etc., available via YouTube. I think both Lagerbielke and Palmer are going to turn into very good players for Celtic. I think it has to be remembered that Palmer was in the door one day, did all the press media stuff, met his teammates, and then after sitting on the bench against Rangers, flew off to play 2 games for Honduras, coming back to Celtic on the Friday, training briefly on the Friday, and then coming on as a sub against Dundee the following day. It takes time for players to get used to teammates, for players to know just where Luis Palma prefers the ball, how he differs from where Dyson Maida or Abada or Yang would like the ball, where Forrest or Haksabanovic, when Haksabanovic was playing for us, liked the ball, etc. It takes time. Seeing how well he did in Honduran football and in Greek football, and how he has prospered in international football for Honduras, means I think he will turn into a very good Celtic player, and he has a lot of skills that will be very useful to Celtic. I think it's fairly similar to Jota. When Jota came to us on loan, it took him a few days, a few games, and a few weeks to start to show his talents, and he got better and better. Lagerbielke did look rather uncertain in his very first match against in partnership with Navroki. They lost in the Viaplay Cup on an artificial pitch. He did look a little bit unnervy in the first half against Rangers. Again, he and Scales several times made mistakes, which happily didn't turn into goals. I thought in the second half, Lagerbielke got better and better against Rangers. I thought when he came on in the second half against Dundee last Saturday, he played very well and played better than Phillips had done in the first half. And I think in the game against Feyenoord on Tuesday, I thought he had a perfectly good game. I thought he was a bit unlucky with the first yellow card, which was, I think, his first foul in the whole match, and it wasn't a particularly bad foul. And the massive majority of independent, impartial pundits and ex-referees have felt that the penalty was unfair and the yellow card was totally unjustified for the nature of that foul. And so I think Lagerbielke has had a bit of bad luck, has taken a bit of time to get used to his partners. I think one of the difficulties he's had is he's played alongside Navroki, played alongside Scales, then had international break, which allowed him not really to get much of a partnership going with Phillips or Scales during the international break. So I think let's give Lagerbielke and Palma time. And I think over the next few weeks and couple of months leading up to Christmas, both of those players are going to turn into very important players for Celtic, and similarly Thiago Holm and Paulo Bernardo. So one other wee piece of news is that Nemanja Jovic, who Celtic had been linked with, who is currently a free agent, having left Partizan Belgrade during the summer. His agent made it quite clear that Jovic is looking at becoming a free agent signing for one of the big 5 European leagues, and isn't looking to go to Celtic or Scotland or any of the smaller leagues. I think of also significance is that he turned down big offers from Saudi Arabia and Turkey, and so is clearly holding out for one of the big 5 European leagues. And so I think any thoughts of him coming to Celtic should be forgotten. Not that I think he actually would really be coming to fill a place or fill a role that we need. As I've said before, I think goalkeeper, second striker, and left back are the 3 positions we really need to improve on, and I'm sure those will all be addressed in the forthcoming winter transfer window and the following summer transfer window. I think that, along with ensuring that our current stars stay with us and that we build towards a 3-year plan, with this being year one, obviously, I think in year two and year three, Celtic will become stronger and stronger in Europe. I thought it was very interesting in his press conference. Brendan Rodgers also referred to Red Bull Salzburg, who had a very good 2-0 win away to Benfica in the Champions League this week. And he says that he hopes to model Celtic on Red Bull Salzburg. Red Bull Salzburg, a team very renowned for buying young, promising players, often using the African and Far East market, and some of the smaller European markets, bringing those players, coaching them up, keeping them for 2 or 3 years in the team, which then obviously creates team spirit, understanding, etc. And then as they start to get into their early mid-20s, many of them moving on to bigger, more rich countries and more rich leagues around the world. I think that very much is the model that Celtic are trying to use. I think it's also a realistic model in terms of the sort of players that Celtic can attract to the club, given our restrictions in terms of TV money, league prestige, etc., etc. I think the other place that Celtic need to really look at is bringing forward young players through the academies into the B team, into the first team squad, and getting them playing in the first team. It is so frustrating seeing Ben Doak playing as a starter last night for Liverpool in the Europa League fixture and playing pretty well. It would have been wonderful had we made more efforts in the Postecoglou time to keep hold of him, bring him into the squad, bring him into the team, give him a longer term contract at Celtic. And I think he actually would have been a good player to have been in the squad, being that he's Scottish, homegrown, trained at Celtic, and filled a place that we need to be strong in the wide roles. And so it's a shame that he moved on, similar to Morrison, who went off to Bayern Munich, a young, very promising central defender. It would have been so wonderful to have had Doak and Morrison available for this Champions League campaign. And similarly, for that reason, I do think it's important Celtic do try to keep hold of players such as Ben Summers, Ben McPherson, Rokovata, etc. For future Champions League and European campaigns. Finally, for today, just a quick preview of the Celtic Livingston match tomorrow, 12:30, which will be live on TV. I think Celtic will bounce back strongly. I think Celtic will win comfortably, 2-0, 3-1, something along those lines. I think one of the factors that is slightly against Celtic is the fact this is going to be on an artificial pitch, which obviously Livingston are far more used to playing on. I think Celtic have got better and better playing on the artificial pitch at the Tony Macaroni Stadium. And so I think this is going to be less of a factor. It is of slight concern, however, with Nat Phillips having his ankle problem and Rio Hatate working himself back to full fitness. And I think that might slightly change the selection policy that Rodgers has tomorrow. Celtic have a good record against Livingston in the last 10 games, 6 wins and 3 draws and 1 loss, and 4 wins out the last 4. I think also of quite significant significance is that Livingston have had only 2 clean sheets in the last 21, and so their defence is potentially a weak point for them, whilst obviously our front 3 and middle 3 are all adept at scoring goals, and so I think there are goals to be got tomorrow. So, just to finish off, prediction of the team. I think we should go with Hart in goals, Johnson right back, Lagerbielke and Scales central defence, and Greg Taylor at left back. I think Lagerbielke should play simply because Phillips is carrying the ankle knock. Lower limb injuries are more common on our artificial pitches. And so I think risking a recurrence of Phillips's ankle injury might be too risky. I would, however, go for Hatate in midfield so that he regains match fitness. His was more of a muscular injury rather than a joint injury, and so less likely to be exacerbated by the artificial pitch. I think we'll go with McGregor and O'Reilly in midfield, and in the front three, Luis Palma on the right, Maida on the left, and Kyogo through the middle. I would be looking, however, for players such as Paulo Bernardo and Odin Thiago Home to have a significant role coming on as subs, and similarly Yang. I think Yang seems to lose fitness and pace as the time in the game goes on, and so he may well be more of an impact player coming on in the last 20-30 minutes. And I think that also is David Turnbull's best role, as was shown last season, where he came on as a sub a record number of times and often did produce a killer pass, shot for goal, and of course Turnbull is adept at free kicks and penalties also. So that's how I see things going. 2-0, 3-1 win for Celtic, getting us back on the road to success. Feel free to pop any comments and predictions yourself in terms of scores and team lineup into the comment section. Please do click the subscribe button, the like button, completely free of charge. And to do that, do have a wee look at today's Celtic Livingston related trivia question. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching today. Goodbye. Good luck, Celtic, tomorrow. And hail, hail.
Yeah.